Was Windy City Word invited to this one? Because they're in Austin also.
Yeah, they were.
I just wanted to.
Yeah, we invited Mary, like, she just wasn't able to make it.
I also just wanted to. You all are competitors. Am I correct in that? Or maybe you compete for advertising dollars, but you may not cover the same content.
Friendly competitors.
And that's fine, right? Because it's free enterprise. So I guess my concern is in Austin, since you're competing for the same advertisers, the same dollars. Am I correct?
Yeah. Same business.
The same business. So does that interfere with the content of the stories or the way things are covered within the community?
There's a lot of variables that affect the content of the story. You got the economy, how much space that a newspaper is able to afford to actually get those stories in there, and because it's not just what you know, it's what you can prove. We have the editorial job of what we can print, not just on somebody's anger or unsubstantiated claims. You have to be able to prove it, because we don't have the resources that some of the corporate media has to be able to go to court and you charge for libel or something as well. So that's another variable. There's a claim that somebody's going around picking up other papers, and so that's where maybe why, like I can tell you may not see some of these papers. With us, it's hard because we change our data. We actually put it on the south, and so one comment by one of the persons said, "You're costing us a lot of money," so that means that they're paying somebody to do this. So those are some of the issues that are underlying that. But as far as seeing it as competition, I see us as a team, because we don't have resources to be everywhere, and so I really applaud the work that the Austin Weekly is doing, and I applaud the work that some of the Austin Buds, because they do stories that we don't do because we're not there, and we do stories that they don't do because they're not there. But all together, we get bits and pieces of information that can fill the needs of the communities that we serve.
And I call it a friendly competition because it is, because we'll cover something that's in North Longdale, but if I really can't get to it, I'll email Isaac or someone and say, something's going on. So it's not like we're trying to keep stories from each other.
Right.
Like Isaac said, I can't cover everything. You can't cover everything in Austin. There are some stories that, cross all the communities. So, we may even share copies sometimes. We may pick up a story that he does. Say it in Austin Talk. You'll see that your column in there for next week.
Yeah, actually more than 30 of our stories and commentaries have appeared in the Austin Weekly News, and we did that in part because we think what everyone does in this room is incredibly valuable. And as Arlene said, there's so much to be covered. If we had 10 more publications, we still wouldn't cover everything. And so why would I go cover something if I know someone else is going to, and vice versa? Terry will sometimes call and say, "Are you guys covering this?" I'll be like, "Yes." And he's like, "Great." Then he'll deploy someone to cover something else, which I think is good for democracy, because then people can pick up all these publications and go online and find out what's going on.
But how do you, as a local businessman, how do you empower the papers? A lot of times what happens is advertising costs. And it's like you want to advertise, but you can't really see, how it's going to benefit your business, but you need to advertise. And so a lot of times the rates scare you, where you say, "Wow, I would like to, but I can't because it's so much." But then a lot of times you can see the benefits, because what happened a lot of times, they'll do a story on you, and people say, "I saw you in the paper." So it's like, wow, it does work, but the cost is great, because it's cost on your end, it's cost on our end. So is there a happy medium, or is that just something that you just have to agree to, that this is what's going to happen?
Yeah.
This is a balancing act. The rates can't be so low, other than, then we can't pay our bills. But then we got to try to work with people as well. Right. If they can't afford it, but maybe come up with something else. Now, I mean, as editor of the Austin Weekly, we have somebody that deals specifically with advertising. So, you know, I mean, I let them do their job, let me do mine. But we do need to try to work with people in the community because everybody don't have, you know, a lot of money. New businesses that are starting out, you know, they may not have an advertising budget. So we got to find a way to work with them.
They have minimal, because a lot of times, and that's what I'll see sometimes, people in our organization say, well, I want to advertise, but then as soon as I say, well, go to, and they say, well, no, I can't afford it. I'm going to try to find another way to do it. So how do you...
Well, one thing that we did here in North Lawndale News, I mean, a story about a new business is free advertising. And sometimes they don't know. I mean, I've called up people and say, I want to talk to you about the business. Oh, no, I can't afford it. No, I'm not trying to sell you. I'm trying to do a story about you. I mean, so that itself is like free advertising. You know, where you don't have to pay anything. But if that gives you more business getting exposure, well, maybe we want to come back and maybe advertise with us. It's not a quick pro thing. It's really, let us put a story about you, and then, if you get more business, hey, remember us, we can use some help as well. So.
Is there an opportunity to create some type of poor man special?
That's what I was going to say. The thing is to call the newspaper and talk to the advertising manager or to the publisher. We have special pack. We got a small businessman special. It's a $50 ad, and if you run it 3 times, it's $150 a month. Because what gets you the benefit from advertising is frequency and competitiveness. And you can either reduce the size of your ad, because a lot of times they can't afford it because they think too big, instead of thinking smaller and more frequent. And with some businesses, I also tell them, well, don't do it 4 times, or do it a month. Do it twice a month, or do it once a month, but do it every month.
Yeah, I mean, whatever you want to call it, yeah, we should have something like that. But again, as a person that's focused on print and being editor and writer, I always try to say, well, look, maybe we can do a story about you again. I mean, you don't have to pay for anything. And that'll be, and then again, if we can come up with some kind of, poor man's account, something like that can help you out.
I think you might be interested in considering a poor man special. So that those who...
Yes, I would like to say that Austin Talks, our normal rates are $50 a week for a banner headline right at the top. So every day is a poor man special with Austin. Okay, we have the box ads that are just $30 a week. So it is possible to not spend a whole lot of money to advertise.
Well, and the thing about advertising online too, where I think it's valuable to do both, but online you can actually find out how many people actually clicked on your ad. We can sometimes even give you more specific information about where that traffic was coming from, that kind of thing. So I think we probably echo all of us in that we want to work with people and we don't want to make money, we just want to survive, because imagine if you didn't have any of this, or at least a few pieces of this, all the stories that don't get told, and that's what I lay awake at night worrying about.
Lastly, one thing we want to do, starting at the first of the year with the businesses, we want to try to do a featured business. We want to feature a business where everybody can go and participate with this business. And that would be so that's why I'm saying if we're able to work at something like that where we're able to get that business out there in those medias, and we know it's going to be $50, $150, and we can come up with, okay, we need to come up with $500 every month that we could get to all of these medias in order to get this one particular business out there, so that everybody knows that everybody in here can go to this business and shop this month, and we can see how much we're putting in the register for that business, and so you create that cycle. So that's what we would like to do. So if we could talk to you guys at some point about getting what we need to do for that poor man special, so that we can get those businesses going, because that's something we want to launch in January, the African American Business Networking Association. So we can work with you guys.
Yeah, poor man business, it doesn't have to be, it shouldn't be a whole lot of money, just be a little bit, whether it's $50 or $40, any amount of money helps us. We'll figure out on the other end where we'll tap the politicians for some more money.
Let me answer this question real fast. I work with the ethnic news media, and here's the question. Some of the ethnic news media are very successful online. For example, you run a restaurant, and they shoot a video of your restaurant, and you pay Isaac $500 for the year, and every time that you click on his page, you go to a video of your restaurant. Another item is that, let's say, everyone that subscribes to Isaac's newspaper gives him an email for your restaurant, and then once a month, he sends out an email. If you go to this man's restaurant and you show him the newspaper, you're going to get 20% off. This works. In different parts of the city, people do this. So there's a lot of ways you can use online, exactly, because you can tell where people are going, you can talk to people, and shooting a video and putting it on a webpage. You have a car repair shop, you have a beauty salon, anything. It doesn't cost a lot of money, and it's a way of doing it. And exactly, and you know the clicks too, so I would have to share with you, but
Okay.
we can talk after.